The victory at Pingshin Pass. Reorganized into the 8th Route Army in 1937, the Red Army was deployed in the North China battlefield on the front. In September 1937, the Japanese army invaded Shanxi by Yanmen Pass along the Great Wall. The government organized the Taiyuan Campaign. Lin Biao and Nie Rongzhen led the No. 115 Division to participate in the campaign. Pingshin Pass is a strategic spot to Shanxi. On September the 25th, making full use of the terrain, the No. 115 Division ambushed the Japanese and wiped out over 1,000 soldiers, stormed over 100 vehicles, and seized a lot of military material. This was the victory at Pingshin Pass, the first victory in the anti-Japanese war. It dispelled the myth that the Japanese army was invincible and halted the Japanese advance on Taiyuan. It contributed to the preparation of Shinko campaign. And boosted the spirit of Chinese people. The Nanking Massacre. After capturing Shanghai on November 12, 1937, the Japanese army attacked Nanjing, China's capital at that time, on the morning of December 13th. Nanjing was occupied. For 6 weeks, the occupying troops engaged in an orgy of slaughter by the most brutal means. Massacres took place on the riverbank near Shaguan, Caoxiesha, Meitangan, Shangxinhe, Yanziji, and out of the gate of Hangzhou. There were also random killing incidents. In order to exterminate the traces of massacre, the Japanese disposed of the corpse in the river. They also burned or buried a large number of them. It is investigated that over 300,000 civilians and disarmed Chinese soldiers were murdered. Japanese brutality against the people of Nanjing was outrageous. It turned the peaceful metropolitan of Nanjing into a living hell. The Taiyuan Campaign. In the spring of 1938, in order to link their northern and southern forces, the Japanese army launched a two-pronged attack on Xuzhou from Shandong. Li Zongren, commander of the 5th War Zone of the national government, deployed his men to block both paths at Linyi and Taiyuan in Shandong. On March the 23rd, a Japanese army of 40,000 men began to attack Taiyuan. Division commander Zhi Fengcheng held fast to the town for half a month, drawing the main forces of the Japanese army to the Taiyuan area. Li mustered his main force to make a pincer attack. The Chinese army annihilated over 10,000 Japanese soldiers, destroyed over 30 tanks, and seized a large number of weapons. The Taiyuan victory became the largest one on the direct front. Giving a good blow to the Japanese, it was a great morale boost to the Chinese army and people in the struggle against the aggressors. The War of Liberation. In June 1946, Chiang Kai-shek launched an attack on the liberated areas. Both soldiers and civilians of the liberated areas rose as one against the enemy. The War of Liberation had started. At the beginning, the KMT had an obvious military superiority. They also received military and financial support from the U.S. By June 1947, the liberated areas won initial victories. The strength of the armed forces of the CPC and the KMT reversed remarkably. The People's Liberation Army began to move to the phase of strategic offensive from strategic defense. From July 1947, the Central Committee of the CPC launched the 3 major campaigns of Liaoxi Shenyang, Huaihai, and Beiping Tianjin, which destroyed the main forces of the KMT army. Then the KMT deployed its troops on the south bank of the Yangtze River to resist. On April 21, 1949, the People's Liberation Army forced across the river in 3 places, along a front of over 500 kilometers. On April 23, the PLA occupied Nanjing, and Chiang Kai-shek clique fled to Taiwan.